he does go after the bowling, and that's his natural state. Why?
Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. We'll be joined by Mosen Sheikh and others later, not very far away actually. They're all riveted, they're all watching this game, with Pakistan are now currently 6 for 402 in the 163rd over, meaning there's some 9 overs left, and Rizwan is just impressing me no end. Obviously the biggest impression of the day by far was Babar Azam with his magnificent, absolutely magnificent 196. He is clearly one of the best five batters in the world. He is in the same class as Virat Kohli, Kane Williamson, to a lesser extent with Steve Smith, of course. And they really do dominate the world. So Virat, you can include Rohit Sharma there, but Babar, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, probably Joe Root as well. Include them in the top echelon. Babar has gone to the top of the pile at the moment with this innings. A magnificent final day performance. Paul Newman says that Ryan has been disappointing. He should seriously consider retiring at the end of the series. Well, he's just taken 2 more wickets. He's got 3 in total, almost got a hat-trick, and took Babar Azam 196 actually. So I don't think he's going to be retiring at all. Rizwan is just clobbering them. He's not stopping. He doesn't care the fact that they've got 9 overs left. He's 6 down. He's moved on to 79 and could justifiably be going for his 100. And that'll be another great story on this last day. What a performance from Pakistan overall. The fact that they were down and out, all that for 148 after some 500 plus score that Australia put together. Australia strangely didn't force a follow-on and allowed themselves about 90 odd runs, which in the scheme of things didn't really achieve too much, and have delayed, and Pakistan just taken the whole of this match and now 6 for 406. Munchie's joined us. Been an excellent day of cricket. Felt very sorry for Babar. He played so well. He played faultless cricket. The 196 was absolutely faultless, and deserved the double century. Would have been a great fairy tale at 200. He got out and took it on the chin and walked off. He is an amazing player, absolutely amazing player. And all the plaudits, all the great comments they've made about him are totally true. We have some now 9 overs left in the day's play. We've been joined by Mosen Sheikh. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Yourself?
Babar Azam deserves every single accolade bestowed upon him. He has been absolutely amazing. Deserved 200, but it won't matter. It still goes down as one of the best innings I've ever seen in a 4th. The best by a captain. He's in the same league as Bradman, Ponting, a whole range of stats you can mention. It's quite phenomenal, actually. Pakistan didn't deserve to be in this position, but they are because of Babar Azam. When he left, he was 196. The team's total was exactly double, 392. So he hit exactly half of the innings.
Turn the TV off because I still have noise at the background. So I just turned the TV off.
Shafiq played a big role in this too. Should have got 100 as well.
Absolutely. Just give me 1 sec.
Okay. Shafiq should have got 100. Rizwan's on his way to 100 potentially. So, yeah, unbelievable. Thanks from India. If Pakistan had a Rishabh Pant, they would have had a real shot. Well, they have got Rizwan. He's playing pretty well there. I think he's on his way to. I mean, there's a comment there. If Pakistan had a Rishabh Pant, they would have a real shot. Well, Rizwan's pretty much up there, I tell you.
Mate, how good is Test cricket? People were writing off Test cricket big time, and they were saying this Test cricket is boring. This Test cricket, this Test is, right off. But what a Test match we've seen! The game has gone
magnificent.
And that's what Test cricket is all about. The sheer counter attack from both sides, and then the partnership between Shafiq and Babar, and then partnership between partnership between Barber and Rizwan. There's absolutely, that's what you come and watch Test cricket for. And then Lyon getting Shafiq, you mentioned, very unfortunate getting out at 96, and then obviously with Barber disappointing getting out at 196. But by the time he got out, I think he played that sole warrior, and as you saw the record, he's been the best. This is the best innings by a captain in fourth inning. So a lot of records in his name, but bring the crowd back. This is phenomenal Test cricket.
I tell you what, this is deserving. Again, the first Test match, Pakistan dominated, but they drew. This Test, Australia dominated up until the last period. And hang on, is that a wickets form?
Wicket, yeah. So
Nathan has now taken 4 wickets and is coming home with a wet sail. There was a comment by Paul Newman saying maybe Nathan Lyon should retire. Well, if he gets them out of this, he's just reached 420 Test wickets. If he gets one more, he equals Sean Pollock in 13th spot on the overall Test. Amazing. And he gets another 10 or so wickets, and he's going to go into the top 10 like Ashwin has. Nathan Lyon starting to come home with a wet sail here.
I think so. There's 4th.
Oh my God, there's 8 overs to go. I do not want to see Australia win this. I'm sorry. I so much want to see a draw. It would be not right. Now, Rizwan's still there, though. That's one good thing.
Yeah.
And Norman can hold the bat.
Can hold the bat. And the thing is, how good is Test cricket again? I'd say crowd is on their feet, watching every ball for the next 8 overs. That's what it's left. And, all these 40-odd deliveries, it'd be every ball, everyone be keenly watching. And
Nathan Lyon's gone to 421 wickets. He's actually equal Sean Pollock now. And that means that he's gone into equal 13th spot. Exactly.
So phenomenal bowling from him as well. He's toiled hard, 52 hard overs in this innings. He gone 1 wicket in Rawalpindi, bowled his heart out. But how good is this? If he gets a 5 for here and gets Australia a win, it's just...
Lyon is better outside of Australia. Ashwin is outside of India. It's interesting. I'm not sure what's bowling.
Yeah. Interesting.
Australia have, up until this point, really not done much. It's all this late flurry, and they've taken
this wicket, especially after Barber getting out.
Well, a name like Neumann, it'll go well.
Yeah. Let's see. There's three good balls for Australia to get one up. And
they've still got a fair few overs to face, haven't they? There's 9 overs. That's a lot of overs when things are not going.
That's right. That's a lot of deliveries.
So Nathan Lyon, I'm pretty impressed. Nathan Lyon's gone to equal 13th on the overall world record. That's just, to me, that's a stat. So he went past Harbhajan Singh. He's equalled Sean Pollock. He's still 10 away from Hadley, though. But once he reaches Hadley, he's only got Ranga Nehera and Kapil Dev, and he's in the top 10.
Exactly. And the interesting move now that they've got spinner from both ends. What do you think? I think they could have keep going with pace from one end.
And they've gone Swepson now at none for 140 or 50 overs. I would have went for Cummins.
I would have stayed with pace at one end and spin from the other. But because it's a harder ball, it's spinning. Whatever's going to happen, because the ball is not swinging with the new ball, that's probably what they've gone with the spin at both ends. Because of the fact the ball is harder, it will spin hard. So best chance for spinner to get a wicket is with the new.
Rizwan's got to control the strike.
He's got to do it. He's got to just bat the next 5 or 6 overs with a little bit of control, especially like last couple of deliveries, taking the strike. But that's, again, could be risky because all of a sudden you're trying to play a shot that you wouldn't normally to take a single and get off strike. So it's very intriguing Test match indeed.
Well, that was a horribly short ball there by Swepson.
Yeah.
They could have run 2. They haven't run 2. In fact, they're probably not running any runs at all.
That's okay. I think runs don't
Brisbane
matter.
needs to manufacture the strike now.
Yeah, he's more concerned about keeping the strike rather than running. Whereas I agree with you, they could have easily run through and keep the keep the movement in the scoreboard. But I think it's just now a matter of facing those 40 odd deliveries. It's 8 overs, 7 after this one.
And that was a long time.
Exactly. Only 3 good deliveries you need, and that was a good wrong one as well. It's just it's very hard at the moment for Rizwan to trust his partners, because obviously they're tailenders and spinners with harder ball, with spinning a little bit. It's very hard to trust your other partner, even though Numan can bat. He's got a 90 odd in Test cricket as well. But it's just one ball. You need one good rock, and then it's all over.
Yeah, this is the danger. Any new batsman coming in, it's a bit like deer in front of headlights.
Exactly.
It is a very difficult situation to come in.
Especially when you've got 4 or 5 men around your bat, and all you're doing is trying to survive those deliveries. It's not easy. Pressure on, series online.
Well, Paul Newman's just that if Rizwan gets out, it'll be panic stations.
Or panic hits straight away when Baba got out. You saw very next ball, Fahim got out, and then Sajid, he was trying to.
He deserved to be not out at the end of the day. Would have been the fairy tale of fairy tales.
Yeah, fairy tale finish, getting 200.
Oh my God! Oh, Rizwan popped it up in the air just then. Oh, that looked ugly. It was terrible. In fact, what's the old saying? Shit gets wickets. At the moment, Swepson's capable of bowling awful deliveries, and that could well be a wicket, couldn't it?
Just stuck in the pitch and popped up, and then there was no short cover to take it. So again, there's 4 men around the bat, and there's only mid-off or wide mid-off where Uzi is, and he's passing on his experience to Shrepo. He's got to go slow and wide. He's got to go spin hard and got to go slow in the air to be able to spin the ball.
They're still underbowled. They underbowled Cameron Green, I reckon, as well.
I think they have.
Only 13 overs.
Yeah, I don't know if he carried any niggle or anything, but this is Shrepan's last ball was 95k. This is too quick on this pitch. You still got to give still ball in mid to high 80s. That's where you're going to get the maximum bite out of the new ball and spin hard. Whereas if you're bowling that 90 odd or 90 plus k deliveries, and they're going to be too quick and easy to bat on. So
do you see Bubba Azam at the window of the dressing room, peering through?
Yeah, just waiting, counting deliveries.
He should be ecstatic, really. He got 196.
Yeah, but he has saved. The reason why he's still worried that if this test match is not saved, that 190 odd or 196 is going in vain. He's batted for nearly 2 days. His 2 partnerships were fantastic. He single-handedly took the game away from Australia. He deserves
without him, they wouldn't have got this far. Simple.
He deserves all the credit.
But I'm impressed with Azhar Ali in the first test, Imam Ul Haq. All top 4 batters of Pakistan scored centuries. That can't be said about the Australian side. It's only the one player, and that's Kawhi. The only person to score a century. It's a bit hard to comprehend how we could be seeing Australia ahead when only one of their top 4 batters have scored centuries, whereas in Pakistan's case, all 4 have.
That's true.
In comparison, actually. And they weren't centuries, they were big centuries. 185 from Azhar Ali, 196.
That's right. And it could be multiple centuries because Shafiq missed out by 4 today. Imam got double in the Pindi test, and Baba went nearly double 100 today as well. So they're big hundreds. I would like to see these guys bat through. The thing that I'm not liking is the guys are bowling too quick. They're bowling in high 90s or mid 90s. Lines are still operating at mid 90s. Swepson was bowling it in early to mid 90s as well. It's too quick they're not allowing the ball to spin. So you got to bowl with mid to late 80s pace, at least 10k slower. So then you have that opportunity for the ball to spin. See how this one is still 91 k's. So still for me, it's too quick. They got to adjust to the fifth day pitch and bowl in a low 80s to mid 80s where the ball's spinning. They've got a new ball, hard ball in their hand. It should spin.
They're in the 166th over now. They've got 2 deliveries left. That means 6 overs left after this.
After this, yep.
Oh no, there's a bit of an appeal, isn't it?
That's
Not
going
the right one to be in at this point. He's somebody who could probably handle the situation better. Paul Newman's asking, will Swepson go to Sri Lanka and India? Of course he is.
Of course,
If he's been given birth in this Test series, he will.
and I think he will be really good in those pitches because the pitches in Sri Lanka and India will crumble more than they crumble in Pakistan. I don't know if Paul was in your audience when we spoke about the content of the clay mix in India. They have got a higher content, and what happens is the pitch with the sun baking through them, they break quickly. They crumble quickly as well. So the pitches here in Pakistan, they haven't crumbled, as you can still see. Day 5 pitch, last hour, last half an hour, the pitch hasn't crumbled. I mean, there's foot marks, but there's no movement in those cracks as well. Whereas in India, those cracks open up, they crumble really quickly. And if Swepson's bowling on those pitches, I think he will be a handful bowler to be there. In these kind of pitches, I was again coming back to our day 1 comment. I would have been like to see Scotty Bolland in the team. He would have been really handy with lower arm, reverse swinging, skiddy kind of bowler. He bowls really well when the MCG starts to reverse as well, and he's a workhorse. So it's unfortunate that he's missed out 2 Test matches in Pakistan.
It's interesting. There's questions about, and I tend to, what's the word for it? I tend to understand it. People, Baku Dada, who's a regular from the show, how do you rate Pat Cummins' captaincy for the series? I still don't think it's good enough. I still think he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah,
He certainly, when he came in and took a couple of wickets with Shafiq and then the wicket following, he certainly looked like he did the right thing. Oh my God, what was that for a shot? Rizwan's, is there's no one back there? I hope there is no
one back. He's
empty outfield. Good. Rizwan's got the right mental attitude. There's no point in getting all caught up in it. Just
get negative. If the ball's there, you got to put it away. If you get negative, you can easily get.
He's on 87. He can get a century.
You could, yeah.
It was absolute rankful toss.
Conversation.
Absolute rankful toss.
It was, yeah. It was silly.
It was an absolutely awful delivery. To be honest. It was an absolute shocker. Mind you, he could have got a top edge and got caught, but he hit it out of the ground.
Yeah. Paul, sorry, Norm, just a comment regarding the comment I was going to make about Cummins' captaincy. I think he's learning quick. There's still a lot to learn. Obviously, when he's bowling, it seems like when he's in a spell, he's still a little bit lost about how the game's moving, which is quite natural. And we spoke about this yesterday, that there are not many fast bowlers who've been really successful captains. So it'll be very interesting to see how he evolves his thinking. He keeps his bowling and his captaincy going both at high level, because it's really hard. He's bowled really well. You've got to give him that credit. Captaincy, obviously, there are few things that he will continue to learn. And I think that's where the experienced leadership group in Uzi, Smith, Warner, they'll help him out during the tough series of Sri Lanka and India. But I'd like to see him evolve a bit more proactive as a captain.
The pitch, Paul Newman, I'm not going to get angry at Paul, but I don't have any issues at all with the pitch whatsoever. There's plenty there for wickets to fall. They proved they're getting them all out for 148 in the first innings, and they should have got them all out earlier than this.
Exactly right.
So
exactly.
They've got themselves to blame. Baba Azam batted out of his skin. Shafiq did, and now Rizwan. Yep. There's no excuses to say the pitch is to blame whatsoever.
This test,
I love this pitch. This pitch has been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic pitch. I
Because
love this pitch.
this is what Test cricket is all about. Last 6 overs of Test match, and you're still watching it with keen interest because Australia could still win in last 30 deliveries. So how good is this? Example of classic Test match that you can see, because you don't see too many. See a lot of Test matches being dominated in 3 days or 3.5 days. Test matches finishing dominated with the ball and then no balance with the ball or a bat. Whereas this Test match gave you equal balance. Pakistan lost their 10 wickets for 148, came back second innings under pressure, 500 runs to chase, or survived 2.5 days. They nearly batted out. There's only 5 overs, 30 deliveries left to survive a Test match with 500 runs behind.
Cummins is now he's seeking advice from Stark, from Lyon, Warner, Smith. That's too much. He's the captain. He doesn't need to go running around getting advice at this stage of the match. I'm really sorry. This is showing a flaw in the captaincy. A good captain takes charge now, doesn't start asking for advice with 5 overs to go. There's something quite seriously not right here. And I repeat, Pat Cummins does an admirable job. He's a great leader by way of example, but he shouldn't be a long-term captain of Australia, I'm afraid.
That's
learning curve.
Exactly. That's to be seen how he goes in a long term.
And Paul Newman's got a good point here. Strapson, who's bowling rank full tosses, shouldn't be on now. He's inexperienced.
I said with the new ball, they should be going
one.
They should have been pace from one end, spin from the other to try and unsettle a tail ender, because the faster man, the ball staying low could be anything. So I don't know if Norman's comfortable playing spin or not. The ball's just from Lyon's end, I would keep him on, and from the other end, I would get a quick on. Just after this over, there's only 4 overs left, so you got only 24 deliveries or 28 deliveries left now to get 3 wickets. So it's you got to throw everything. It's like Sydney Test against England. You don't want to be ruining or missing out by 1 wicket. How we missed out and had Smith bowling the last over. That didn't make sense. But here again, if you don't have your quick man out from the other end, I think you're missing the trick, because you've got to have some pace with the new ball, tail enders on strike. You've got to do something. Because Norman would be like
a moment to when Pakistan were left 148. They should have been forced to follow on, because
I agree.
Because their batters were in a mental down mode,
integrated, and
they had no chance to recover if they went straight back in. We're giving Australia more time to actually control the match, but they've actually given Pakistan too much time.
Exactly, and they only had bowled 50 overs. So they were not really tired. But since Kolkata Test match back in early 2000s, if you remember, Lakshman days, when they did enforce a follow on, and since then Australia have been reluctant to force a follow on. I can't remember any Test match where Australia followed any opposition out. Whereas this Test match would have been classic. Follow on Pakistan, they were disintegrated. Mentally, they were really behind on the back foot. You could have gone bang, bang, early wickets, and the game would have been over. Now, Norman's just comfortable playing spin off the deck. He's just soft hands, and he's played 2 overs of line easily. Now there's only 24 deliveries left. You've got to get pace from one end. And good to see.
They've got 4 overs left now.
4 overs left.
Have the old McGrath-Warne combination, spinner and fast bowler in 10.
Your best fast bowler from one end, and line continues from the other. That's me. Whether it's Stark or whether it is Cummins, they've got to come on. Quicker delivery, ball staying low. They're sticking with Strapson still, which is interesting. They're still banging on. Rizwan playing a false shot rather than a quicker man getting there.
Strapson's bowled 52 overs at none for 148 in his first Test match. They're pushing their luck having him on at this stage.
Well, exactly.
My famous last words, he may take the wickets, but I doubt it.
He's got 6 men around now, so it's interesting how he goes. And again, he's bowling that pace. If you look at that, again, 92 Ks. It's too quick, 91.1. again, it's too quick. He bowled one delivery in last over, which was mid-80s, and that spun, and that gave a bit of a chance. So if he continues to bowl that high pace, he's not giving or allowing the ball to spin. So see this one round the legs. He's trying something different, and that's my point. Is that's where your quick man should have been trying to get. He's got 7 men around the bat, 8 men. You got to allow the ball to spin.
I mean, the bowling, he bowls a full toss with 9 fields around the bat. He bowls a full toss.
Full toss.
That's disgraceful. I'm sorry if I know. Look, it's his first test match. I'll be fair to him, but he's bowled far too many full tosses.
No, but this time you got to get your best bowler on, and obviously,
why isn't Cummins bowling from one end?
Cummins or Stark for me would have been perfect to bowl these last 2 overs. But obviously they're backing the rookie. Unfortunately, it's a pressure situation for him as well. His first test match, and he's bowled 4 deliveries and 3 deliveries all down leg side. So you got to get your faster man on. He's 2 balls left in this over, and then 18 after this. So every ball is relief for Rizwan.
I mean, with Rizwan there, I'm feeling very comfortable. There's still got 2 batters in the tank there.
But it could go bang bang. Once Barber got out,
he's got a century, didn't he? In a match, 58 ball 100, didn't he?
Who's this?
Hassan Ali scored a 58 ball 100.
I'm not sure he got 100
earlier.
Maybe I have to check.
Was it Norman? What's Norman's last name?
90 or 96, I think he got against New Zealand.
Yeah, I think Paul Newman's right. But Boland needs to come into this side because he would have got the wickets.
I honestly believe a quicker man would have got wicket because the ball's skidding, and this pitch would have suited Boland. Boland is that kind of bowler. He reverses the ball, he skids the ball. He's your banker. He's like your 100% banker who's going to get you a real value for your bowling. So what they do in Lahore, it'd be interesting to see. Interesting to see how they go with these 20 deliveries first. We'll talk about Lahore after, but I think Boland would have been ideal for this pitch. And
another full time.
Yeah. So allowed him to get.
And some sloppy field. Balls careering past them.
Yeah.
And hopefully they ran 2. I don't know whether they run 2 or they run 2.
Yeah, they ran 2, but I think Manas was in the way of bad.
Well, are they shaking hands?
Don't think so. I think ball.
No, I think it hit the ball hit Labuschagne. That's why he was patting him.
I think it hit Manas's pads or something, so he was just making sure that he's all right. So that's good to see the bit of.
So Rizwan's on 91. I love the edit single. There's a good comment here that I like to see. This sums it up. They're relying on a debutant to get them over. That's a horrific mistake. Even Shane Warne in his first match wouldn't have been up to it.
If the ball's spinning really, and this is see how this one was just a perfect line to bowl outside his eye line, trying to get him drawn forward. That's where you got to be. But he hasn't been there. He's been down the leg stump, bowling fullies. So my thinking again is the ball. You only got 18 deliveries. Get your quick men out and try and attack the stumps, hit the pads. That last delivery was just outside his eye line where he pushed at it again, and it just nearly carried to.
Khawaja's dropped a sitter.
Yeah, it's just So this is where he needs to be, but I think still you got 2 overs from this end. Get your faster men on. Get one from line, and then get your 2 men to close.
Should have been coming from the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is some pretty big mistakes. You don't put a debutant to try and finish the innings off. It's not Shane. As I said, Shane Warne in his first match went for 150 with Shah. So they're giving Shrepson the same credibility. It's a mistake.
But it's harsh on the debutant as well. You probably be better off going, okay, well, you've done your job. You bowled 50 odd overs for the day, which is quite a workload. So let's try and get.
Swepson's a mess. Swepson is red raspberry in the face, and he's
hot.
stressed. He's stressed to the hilt, and it's not his fault.
Hot day. He's trying to win your Test match. It's first.
Looks like Mitchell Stark's coming on. I think
Lyons started to come on to bowl, but he's now gone off. It looks like Cummins and Stark's got a bowl. The 3 overs left. Oh, Marnus is coming on.
The Lyons isn't long.
Yes, Marnus coming on.
Oh, I'm so. Oh, please bear with me. Marnus Labuschagne's coming on the bowl. 2 overs to go.
Is your favourite?
Are you kidding me?
Are
you kidding me? He hasn't bowled the entire innings. He bowls rubbish. They're trying to buy a wicket, are they? This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Swepson is the guy that's been brought in to play on the side. Okay, he's a debutant. Labuschagne's a more senior spinner. I don't think so. This is borderline embarrassing.
Unless they want to get line from the other end, but still,
you bring Stark or Cummins on.
Cummins on,
Green, not Labuschagne. It's his first over.
Yeah, interesting move. If he pulls a wicket,
I hope like hell he doesn't get 3 wickets this over. I will eat my hat if he gets 3 wickets.
He'd be a champion.
I couldn't handle the way he would carry on if he took the 3 wickets. He'll claim he won the match.
Even if he gets 1, it'd be a big carrying on.
They are kidding themselves.
And he plays and miss. So see how he's bowling in high.
What are they appealing for? They're appealing the ball and getting near the bat.
No.
Smith's still got his hands up.
And that's what.
Oh, they're actually going up for this. They're going up for it.
No, I don't think it nicked the. Well, they got to use
this is disgraceful. I'm not joking. If this is Cummins' idea of a good idea, there's something serious. Why not bring Travis Head on, for God's sake? Jesus. No, I'm sorry. In a moment in a Test match, Shane Warne would be having kittens at the moment if he sees this.
No, I just
nowhere near the bat.
That's straight to ground. That's where the noise was. So I don't think there's anything to worry about here. But again, this could be a master stroke from Cummins. Hey,
no one's. Labuschagne is your preferred bowler to bowl the last 2 overs of a Test match up to 5 days. When you haven't bowled Labuschagne 1 single delivery in the second innings, he's got no game awareness because he hasn't bowled.
No, I think this over for me was Cummins. Then you bowl Line, and then you bowl Cummins.
They're giving Labuschagne almighty.
They're
giving him almighty credibility here, and this is disgraceful. He shouldn't. He didn't. If he didn't bowl in 169 overs, why is he bowling 170 over? If they're giving up on the match and they just wanted to bowl somebody, fair enough.
That's fine. Shake hands and then save everyone.
And there it is. It's just gone. It's a horribly wayward spinning ball. He's putting his hands up like, oh my God, I almost got to go. It was nowhere near the bat. I'm sorry. It was biased because it was such a shit ball. A complete waste of an over. Complete and utter waste of an over.
Yeah. I think it just hit the rough and it just bounced near the shoulder height. It was just that's probably why they bought him. They bought him to use that rough. Who knows? But look, Rizwan's just got to bat out these 3 deliveries, and then I think Starkers will come. Oh, they didn't take a single list. Norman's still facing.
They've got 2 overs up. They're going to bowl in the last over as well. They got an over of somebody else, and they're going to put. They're mad.
I still believe the best bet would be to get.
If you are a selector of the side, a coach or captain, the last thing you would do is bring Labuschagne on for his first over at the end of the day, and he's done nothing.
They missed a trick in Sydney as well. Remember when they had Smudge bowling last over? So
And actually, it was a no ball. His front foot was over the side wide line.
Sideline. Oh, okay, fair enough. So, fair enough. So
Labuschagne got tickets on himself. Something horrid.
Fantastic Test match. I still loved it. The
If I
only
was Labuschagne and my captain offered me the ball, I'd say, no, mate, I'm not in the team to get the
I'm
ball.
okay. Let's get the
There it is, finished. He's 1 over, produced nothing.
No. 2 overs to go. Interesting. People are
Who's
getting.
next? They're going to bowl. They're going to. No, maybe they should give Alex Carey a bowl. Maybe they take a pass and give him a ball.
Well, they might as well shake hands if they don't want to. If they don't want to win the Test match, they might as well shake hands.
Moses, you must. It's comical to put like. That's a. Would you have tactically ever thought of putting Labuschagne on the bowl? No.
No, I would have gone last 5 overs. I would have gone with pace.
If he bowled 10 overs earlier on and bowled really well and took a couple of wickets,
True.
yes, then
Yes,
I might think about it. Maybe I'll think about it. But if he's not bowled one single ball, and it's a slap in the face of Swepson, really,
Right.
in a way.
And the Stark's still not on, and line coming from this end means someone's got to close off from the top end. So interesting.
Heaven forbid if they get the 3 wickets in these 2 overs. They won't. Australia do not deserve to win this match. I'm afraid they do not deserve to win this match.
Very, very interesting. I suppose line has got last.
I really want to go to the last match. I want to go to the last match in.
Mate, how good would that?
It'll be what now? It's perfect. It's
perfect. It's right for final Test match. Now they've got a curator from the ex-MCG curator. He's already landed in Lahore to prepare the pitch.
He'll take this over. He's on 91. He's going to want to get his century. He's not going to sit on 90.
Knowing Rizwan, I don't think he'd be considering 100. He'd be thinking survive. He'd be thinking the draw test is like a win for Pakistan.
You reckon he's just smashed the ball for 4?
Really good shot for 4. If he gets another half volley, he's going to hit.
Ball. I reckon he wants 100 big time. There's no one in the outfield. He can go for a big slash and he can get it.
Yes.
They should put Stark on. I mean, who's going to?
I agree.
Who's going to bowl the last over? No, Moses. Who's your pick for the last over? It better not be Labuschagne. It better not be Labuschagne.
No, I would go Cummins last over. But even that second last over would have been Cummins as well. So line has got 4 deliveries now. Just Rizwan's just got to see that through, and hopefully get a juicy half volley he can hit down the ground as well. So
I love the way Rizwan's absolutely whacking it into the silly bit on, which is Labuschagne. He's not just caressing it.
Seen quite a few times and apologize afterwards. So
I love to see Rizwan get a century. Come on, Rizwan, hit a massive 6. Come on.
There's a single.
That ball. That's 4 runs. That's 4 runs. Has to be. It is 99. You beauty. Fantastic.
So that's excellent batting display from and we remember we were talking about how many guys from Pakistan have scored 100. So this would be another man. It'll
be the 5th Pakistani to get a century compared to 1 Australian.
1 Australian. Kerry missed out as well.
Or in the order, there's one who's not. Yeah, it's the top 5 out of the top 6 batters of the Pakistan team for centuries. Only Fawad Alam.
Fawad's missing out.
Can you tell me who taught Fawad Alam to his batting sense? Because I've never seen someone bat so. Even Chanderpaul was made more sense.
No,
it's the worst batting sense I've ever seen.
He didn't used to bat like that. He was very conventional when he started his Test career. When he played earlier on in his first class as well. But
he actually faces towards fine leg.
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre.
Never seen that before in my life.
He shuffles across, even though when he shuffles across, he's too vulnerable. There's too many movements for him to nick one, and that's what he did today.
There are effectively 8 balls left and 3 wickets.
That's right, and hopefully Rizzy gets his 100 on this ball.
Oh my God! Oh my God! What was he doing? What was he doing? Lucky, he was so lucky.
He was lining him up.
This is stressful as all hell.
And that's best Test cricket, isn't it? How good is that? And
he's raised his arm pretty badly.
Yeah, I think You don't really dive on hard pitches in Pakistan. They're just very
not a good idea. It's like a road.
No, they're very
effectively now 7 deliveries for 3 wickets. Is he? Oh my God, he's back. Oh, he was so lucky. Oh geez, he was lucky.
Dive saved him. Yeah. So
He got back in big time.
big time. Yeah. So dive saved him.
Isn't this dramatic? They're 438 runs. They're 438 runs.
Exactly. And that's, imagine if the partnership Shafiq and Barber would have continued, they would have chased the runs down. That's what my thinking is. So that was very lucky.
That was right. This draw is like a victory. Absolutely. I believe the
Not
first they were victorious.
48 all out first innings, and
He's got his 100. He's got his 100. He's got his 100. He's got strike in the last over. This is magnificent.
This is excellent batting.
Look at the young boy. That is, Rizwan's almost matched. No, not quite, but he's almost matched the importance of Bubba's century, actually, in a way.
Absolutely.
So again, the top five Pakistani batters in order: Imam, Shafiq, Azhar Ali, Babar Azam. Not Fawad Alam, we'll leave him out. And then Rizwan's next in the order. That's 5 of the top 6 batters have got centuries in this series. They're both draws, and Australia scored 1 century.
100, exactly.
Look, Mose, I'm going to say this really clearly. I think they're going to rue the decision to have Pat Cummins. I'll give him another 6 to 12 months, and they'll realise when they lose games critically, especially in the subcontinent, they're going to realise they've made a mistake, and they're going to look for a new captain. I'm not trying to damn Pat Cummins here, but he's clearly out of his depth.
No. I think it'd be good to see how he goes in Sri Lanka and India, because India would be real big test. I know Sri Lanka is not really up to the mark at the moment at Test cricket or even with the white ball cricket, so he might be all right in Sri Lanka. But India, oh my God! Imagine the Indian pitches, Indian batting, and Indian bowling. How he would react.
Now, hang on. They put Strepson back on to bowl the last over. Yeah. Explain that. After having put Labuschagne from 1 over, they're putting Strepson back on. What's the thinking there? Where's the logic in that?
It just didn't make sense. It just didn't. Last 5 or 6 overs absolutely didn't make sense. They bowled Shrepper for 2.
Colossal. It's a colossal mistake. Absolutely colossal mistake. You don't put Labuschagne. Putting Labuschagne was a brain explosion, I'm afraid.
And that last 6 overs,
they've basically won now, haven't they? No, they need another delivery.
One more. So
that was a brain explosion. That was a humongous brain explosion.
Last 6 overs. We've been talking about that when we gone on air. There was last 6 overs. You go Cummins from one end and spinners from other end, and then you go Stark to try and bowl quick and attack the stumps, blast the pad. They missed a trick. I think the draw is as good as win for Pakistan.
Well, now the problem is they've got 3 balls left. They could get 3 wickets and win the match. It's possible.
Yeah, but I think one more delivery and then look at that.
And he bowls a rank short ball, which was one next to the boundary. That was atrocious. Absolutely no pressure at all. Where was Cummins when he should have bowled that last over? So, well, they've success. I'll give a round of applause for 7 for 443. Magnificent effort, honestly.
Yep.
Really magnificent effort from Pakistan. Absolutely fantastic. I'll give Pakistan very deserving of that draw. Australia should be embarrassed.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially the way
they last 6 overs.
Moses, come on, defend this Labuschagne bowling effort. Can you defend it?
No, I can't. I honestly cannot. Last 6 overs, you should have had you just taken a new ball. Why would you take a new ball if you didn't want to?
That was a captaincy brain explosion. A captaincy disaster. Was Labuschagne jumping up on the spot? I want to bowl. Like that was what was going. Why would you turn to a bloke that hasn't bowled 1 over in the entire 170 overs and put him on?
Gamble. It was just a gamble, but I think it was too costly a gamble.
It was disastrous. It's not a gamble. It was pathetic. There's no gamble about it. It was utter stupidity.
Yeah,
and
I think
worst thing was they brought Swepson back on.
Yeah.
Had they put Stark or Cummins, okay. But Swepson would have been going, why was I taken off that 1 over?
That's right. Exactly.
Why was I brought back? Now, more importantly, why was I brought back?
Yeah. No, the thing that it seemed like the bowlers didn't want to bowl. Whereas you got new ball, you got a test match to win, and you just don't want to bowl. I'm just I got no words. I think Cummins or
Absolute captaincy brain explosion.
yeah, it
Who
doesn't make
advised him to do that? Who was the absolute? I'm writing this on my absolute absolute brain explosion from. That is one of the worst. That's one of the worst finishes of an Australian team I've seen in a long time, in terms of the idiocracy of the. It's an absolute brain explosion from Cummins. I'm running.
Yeah, no, it didn't make sense. I can't justify last 6 overs, 3 wickets to go. Out of the 30 deliveries, you want your best bowlers to bowl those 30 deliveries. And unfortunately, Schwepper, after bowling 50 odd overs, he would have been tired. His legs would have been jelly. You would have had your premium bowler to bowl those 3 overs from one end line, who just got you back in the game. He's got 4 wickets. Well, you took Nathan Lyon off. You got 4 wickets, and from the end that he was bowling successfully, and all of a sudden you've taken him off and gone with Marnus from that end.
Well, that was. If I'd been on the field then and someone had called out, "Why don't we put Labuschagne on?" I would have laughed.
Yeah, I know. Exactly, it didn't make sense. I think Rizwan's just thanking God, and he's happy that he had that partnership with Babar, and again, it was good to see a bit of crowd today as well. There was a few kids from schools and girls, young boys and girls attending the game, and they were chanting Babar when he was on 190. Unfortunately, he missed out. But there's a lot of credit got to go with Shafiq, Babar, and Rizwan. They've actually.
How many times has Pat Cummins been a captain of any side in any level? He was there in one of the ODI matches for New South Wales. But what, I know he's been vice captain of Australia, but what true captaincy experience has he got?
He's been captain 1 year for New South Wales. He's captained half the
stateside.
Stateside, yeah. He's been captain New South Wales. Last year we won the one-day premiership under his captaincy. So he has been captain a year and a bit. Junior side, he's captain. He captained for his club as well. So he has had a bit of an experience. But Test cricket is a lot different, and especially Test cricket in subcontinent. How different it is! How many times you see Test match going to last ball in Australia or in India? Test match finishes in 4 days. So you don't see a real challenge of long 5 days, hard Test cricket, where you have to work hard to get your wickets. And I'm sorry, last 6 overs, 3 wickets to get, Test match on a line, you got to get your premium bowler. If this was McGrath and Vaughan on pitch, you think there was any other bowler who's bowling on today? No, there would be the two best bowlers to bowl to finish off the Test.
You get the best bowlers on at the last, and the best bowlers are not Labuschagne and debutant Schwepson.
No,
they are Nathan Lyon, who actually. Why would you take Nathan Lyon off when he actually took 3 wickets in the last couple of overs?
Exactly. So I would have kept on line from one end, and I would have gone 3 overs from Cummins and 3 overs from Stark to close it off. That's just
absolutely.
Last hard bust, try and attack the wicket, trying to take the pads, and finish the game. But it didn't look like both fast men wanted to bowl. It was disappointing.
And Swepson should not, and I'm not knocking the guy, but he should not have bowled the last over under any circumstances.
No.
And how confused must he be when he's been taken off, Labuschagne's been put on, and then he's given the ball back? You can't call that an experiment or a gamble. It's stupidity. It's stupidity.
I think some journalists should question him in the press conference. I don't know who's attending the press conference today. But if Cummins is there, someone should ask the question: why didn't he bowl in the last 6 overs, or why Starkey didn't bowl in the last 6 overs? But again, he will. There will be a lot of questions actually going around in press or in media or social media that last few overs, why the quick men didn't come on, especially when they've just taken a new ball. Cummins only bowled 1 over with the new ball, and that's it. So he saw the ball didn't swing, and then he straight away thrown it to Schwepson and Lyon. and they bowled last.
You can go back to the first test. Bowling Travis Head on the 18th over was an utter stupidity. Bowling Steve Smith at all, and bowling Labuschagne really at all. And if you've got Labuschagne as your supposed bowler, which we're now having to think that because he came on, why did you bring Swepson on? There's all sorts of issues here, all sorts of issues. And I'm afraid Pat Cummins is a bowler and should have better nous about how to deal with bowling lineups. And I'm afraid he completely stuffed it. And I'm not going to talk about his previous captaincy record because I don't think much of it anyway. And I'm not trying to say he's a bad captain, but he's made some colossal mistakes at the end of this match. It has been an awful effort. And I'm struggling back in the history of what captains we've had would have done this. Chappell, even Michael Clark wouldn't have done it. Steve Waugh, Mark Taylor, Ponting, none of these guys would have made these mistakes.
No. It's unfortunate, even though that, again, this is again about being smart, being ahead of the game. You think that, the ball's staying low from one end. You attack the stumps. You try and take ball a couple of bounces to the tailenders. Let the Lyons been your number one bowler. You keep him on and you try and do with the quick. When you've got the new hard ball in your hand, try and smash the pads and try and hit the stumps. So it's strange captaincy. But again, the whole last 2 days of batting, the credit has to go to Baba, Shafiq and Rizwan today, because these three guys batted the whole 2 and a bit days to deny Australia a victory. The win was on the plate. There was only one team winning. There was only one result in win towards Australia. It was really hard to chase 500, especially on day 5. I would say if Pakistan had both Shafiq and Baba back through an hour after lunch, they would have chased the runs. But because it's really hard on the 5th day to chase runs when you have the pressure of scoreboard on you, it's hard to chase 500 runs on a last day on a staying low pitch. So yeah, I think that was the case. I think they did try and end up the score rate, and that's where Baba got out, and that's when they shut up shop after that, because Rizwan was still attacking even till the last over. He was still attacking. If he had Baba with him, who knows, they would have attacked in the last hour. But there was risk versus reward. I think Pakistan would be happy walking off the pitch, considering a draw. Australia would be disappointing, because they have to be disappointed, because they had the game. They had 2.5 days to get Pakistan's 10 wickets, especially when first innings they got them out 148. I would say if I'm in Australia camp today, I would be disappointed that I didn't close it off. And that has to go with some of the captaincy decisions that got to be questioned. They've got to be asked with the management, that why the quick men didn't bowl in last 6-7 overs when they had new hard ball in their hand. And if I'm a fast bowler, I'll be itching to get a ball on my hands on a new ball to try and close the game off with 3 wickets left.
I would love to have asked just quietly what if I would have approached Usman Khawaja and said, "Hey, who would you bowl the last few overs?" I'm pretty sure I know he would have not taken Labuschagne into play. And there's so many levels of hurt with that decision. He hadn't bowled in the entire 169 overs before that, not one over. Why would you use a brand new bowler at that stage who would be as rusty and as hell? And he didn't bowl badly. He bowled a maiden, but it was just the wrong signal. It was,
And Noman has played all his cricket in Karachi. He's from Karachi. He's played all his cricket in Karachi. He's got a couple of first-class hundreds, and he was comfortable against the spin. That's what my question was. If you get a quick man on, bowl a couple of short deliveries at him, he was gonna try and survive, because he plays at Karachi. He's master of playing against spin. And when spin is not really sharp turn or anything, get your faster men on against him, and he faced 3 overs from that end. To be fair on him, he faced 1 over from Marnus and 2 from Swepson. So it would have been better off trying to get your quicker men on, trying to blast his front pad off, attack his stumps, bowl a couple of bumpers men around him. He would have gloved one. It just did not make sense to bowl spinner to Norman Ali. Either that's lack of homework.
Stark bowling to Norman, they would have got him, and then the tail would have gone in quick succession.
100%.
They would have. That was their best option with Lyon from the other end, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Not to give responsibility to Swepson because he's bowled so much anyway. And he was just a debutant, and then to throw Labuschagne. There's some horrific mistakes there.
That's right.
It is virtually inexcusable. It is virtually inexcusable.
No, I just can't explain the tactics. I've been around the change rooms where you pass on that kind of advice. I think management is equally to consider or should be answering. It's just not just on Paddy Cummins. Someone could have ran a glove ran a drink or something to Paddy and said, look, keep your fast man from one end. It's just 6 overs. Ball your heart out. You get a few days off. Refresh before you play in Lahore. It did make sense.
Let's be honest. If Babar Azam was still there and he batted and they won the game, not won the game, they drew the game, it would be commendable to how well Pakistan batted.
Exactly.
Australia did try pretty hard for a lot of the innings to get the wickets. Cummins, even Swepson. But the way that last few overs was handled was probably the worst I've seen in a long time. It was. I said the body language. Lyon and Stark were talking to Cummins, and between them, none of them bowled the last 2 overs.
No.
I can't imagine. I'm trying to imagine a discussion between Lyon, Cummins, and Stark with a couple of overs to go. Those three are discussing who should bowl next. Oh, how about Labuschagne? I can't. No. Any of those three would even consider. They would put their hands up first.
The guy's got 421 wickets. You bowl him.
There's no way that Labuschagne would have been in the conversation. Yet that's what happened.
Yeah, and he's got you back in the game.
I tell you what. I'm sure Pat Cummins will be in the press conference after the match, and they're going to be hitting him like.
I'm sure.
Amazing.
Go
back to the match. Australia scored 500 odd runs. They won the toss. They put themselves in an incredible position. They made it even better when Pakistan were for 148. They had their foot on the throat of Pakistan. They should have thrown them back in, and they probably would have only got a couple of hundred. I reckon.
Yep.
They would have been mentally not able to recover. They would have probably gone in with the same defeatist situation except the first innings, and Australia were buoyant. They would have been in a better position, but no, they went out to bat and they got a bit of runs towards the end of the day and at the beginning of the day when they could have easily have bowled those sessions and instead they gave Pakistan the chance to recoup and come back.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
I think that's where they missed a trick. I would have followed them on. They would have probably batted for a day maximum. They would have followed on. They would have had a couple of wickets before the end of day 3. And then day 4, Pakistan would have disintegrated because the fact, as you said, the mentally going out and batting again with that pressure to try and save the test match from an innings would have been a lot higher than trying to bat out on day 5, day 4, because they know that a lot of time has gone out of the game. They've had opportunity to regroup, recoup, and think about their batting, and they would have had a good. Both sides of the day 3, Australia batted, which is enough time for batters to go, okay, well, that's what we now have, task in hand. 500 runs, the game could be for winning if we bat through till lunch, but nobody would have thought that they could bat 2 and a bit days to save the test match, which I think Australia.
If you think of it in terms of this controlling the tempo of the match, they didn't control the tempo of the match. No. They lost the tempo because they gave it right back to Pakistan by going in there. If they'd thrown Pakistan back in the follow-on, and they would have even batted for a day and a half, Australia would have had 10 wickets at their disposal to bat. But what they did was only use 2, and they declared it 2 for 90. They didn't even use that. They wasted their batting lineup completely. If they batted at the end with a lot more batters, it just doesn't make any sense.
They didn't want to. It looked like they didn't want to bat in last. They didn't want to bat 4th.
But under the circumstances, it would have been they had more than enough runs. They could have.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what my concern is. When you have a team down, you have a foot down their throat. Why wouldn't you just keep them down? The things that it looked like the Aussies' mindset hasn't gone out of Calcutta, where they followed on and they lost the game, and also the mindset was they didn't want to bat fourth on this pitch. So those two contributing factors, but no excuse. They would have finished the game on day 4 when 148 all out Pakistan. They would have gone out and got Pakistan out in day 4. They would have had an extra day's rest, gone to Lahore early, prepared, rest, and you have a bit more. You're 1-0 up in the series. How many times Australia won in Karachi? Nil. 25 test matches they haven't won in Karachi, and this was their perfect opportunity to win. When other teams all out 148 against you 500 runs, and you missed the trick. So I'm disappointed that Australia didn't close off. I'm disappointed that Australia didn't follow on.
Now they've just given an award to Khawaja as the reliable batter of the match. Well, wouldn't that have been? I mean, he deserved it.
True.
He got 40 on the second ones too. Yes, in fact, he did score more runs probably. But but Bubbly got the man of the match, of course.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's just they wanted to give Uzi an award.
The TikTok player of the match. Oh my God. Good night, Paul Newman. Paul Newman's left. Robert M's to say good night to him.
Yeah, I think it's coming up to that time.
Next will be the Facebook man of the match. It'll be the Instagram.
Oh man, it's just the sponsors, man. How many sponsors are there?
I love to hear what Pat Cummins is saying, but I can't.
Yeah, no, I think we'll catch up. We'll do a bit of catch up post, and we'll try and see and have a bit of chat going towards Lahore as well, because now it's all up for grabs in Lahore Test match, and I would like to see
exciting Test match is going to be.
I'd like to see Haris Rauf play that Test match instead of Hassan Ali. Hassan still didn't look like he's 100% fit. Haris would bit of pace.
Who's 100% fit?
Hassan Ali.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was 100%. So I would go with Haris in Lahore with a bit more extra pace, bit of energy. Both him and Shaheen bowls well together in tandem in white ball cricket as well. So I'd like to see him in the team, and I'd like to see a wrist spinner instead of Sajid Ali. Sajid has bowled good in patches, but he hasn't been effective. So I'd like to see a wrist spinner coming in for Sajid Ali. That would be my two changes. But we'll talk more about Lahore in next couple of days. But I think
look at Pat Cummins' stance. It looks like a teapot.
So
all right, I've been joined at the end there by Gurkrat Gill. How are you, Gurkrat?
Hi, Norman. Been a very long time since I came on your show. Been very busy, and a lot has been happening. But yeah, happy to be back here.
Have you
again.
met Basil McCoy, haven't you?
Sorry?
Have you met before?
Sorry, your voice.
So it's great to have you on the show, and it was quite a dramatic day. This is amazing for Australia, indeed.
Yeah.
I might just move to the middle. That's better, because I'm obviously the better looking one out of the three of us now.
Oh, of course you.
Yeah. All right. Munchie's just come back and he's saying, "Hey, Gurkrat." He's saying hello to you. Munchie's saying hello.
Hi, Munchie. It's been a long time. But coming back to what you just said about you coming in the center because you are good looking. I think your level of delusion is same as the level of delusion which is there with respect to these pitches being sporting enough. So yeah, but I genuinely think that the first innings collapse of Pakistan has saved PCC from a lot of criticism with regards to the pitches. I think what I feel is that bowlers can work without swing or seam movement. They can also work without turn. But I think in test matches, if there is no pace, then it's a huge bane for bowlers, and it's a huge bane for batters in white ball cricket, because if there is no pace, then it's very difficult to play your strokes freely as well, which is what happened. Even when Pakistan wanted to go for the target, that they realized that it was not going to happen because there was no pace in the pitch for any conducive stroke play.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I hope that that there's more pace in the pitch in Lahore. I don't care if it has grass on it or if it's a turner. I just hope it has pace, because I thought Nathan Lyon bowled the right lines today, but because the pitch had no pace, Babar, Rizwan, and Shafiq, they could take their time, could either commit on the front foot or go back and then smother the spin, which made their task a lot easier. I'm not saying that that the effort by these three guys isn't praiseworthy enough. I just feel that if in the fourth innings a team is batting 170 plus overs and scoring 440 odd runs, there's a problem. You know, I, I don't.
Honestly, Bill, tell me what you think of Labuschagne. This is about Labuschagne. Tell me what you think of that.
I think Cummins actually got his bowling changes wrong in the last 1 hour after he got the new ball. I was surprised that there was no Stark bowling at the tail, because on slow pitches, what you need is someone who can take the pitch out of the equation. And Stark with his pace could have done that, like what he did in the first innings when he got Fawad Alam out for the very first ball. It's not like that. It's not that Pakistani paces were not getting reverse swing. Fahim Ashraf was getting it, so was Hassan Ali, and so was Shaheen. But they were reverse swinging it in, say, between 135 to 140, while
Mm.
Stark was doing it 145 plus, which made all the difference. So I was very, very surprised that when 6 wickets were down, they took the new ball. Either they could have avoided taking the new ball at that point of time and had given the ball to Stark to probably see if there's any reverse, give him 2 or 3 overs, and then take the new ball. But it was surprising that there was no pacers bowling in the last 7-8 overs, because that would have been the best bet against lower order batters.
Gurpreet,
One of the commentators actually made the point that more pace bowlers have taken wickets at Karachi than even spin.
yes, that's right. Nice to meet you, Gurpreet. I'm Mohsin here. I'm 100% agreeing with what you're saying. We were just talking about that before you joined us, that it was very disappointing to see when you've taken a brand new ball and you got two of the fastest bowler in your team, you'd be actually fighting to get your hands on the ball. And whereas they ball one over from Cummins, and then he saw no swing. All of a sudden, they've gone back to line and shots. And even if they wanted to bowl off spin from one end, they could have carried on. They had 7 or 8 overs left at the time. They could have just kept on pace from one end and try and attack the stumps. And that's where they would have best opportunity with the new harder ball to get LBW's ball, nicks, whatever. But they did not. It looked like the fast bowlers had given up at that time. Spin was not going to get the wicket. Norman Ali was very comfortable against the spin. He didn't look like in trouble. So you've got to get the tail enders out of their comfort zone, bowl a couple of short ones, attack the stumps, Yorkers, whatnot. It did not look like they tried that trick. I agree with you earlier on as well that the wicket got slower and lower over the time. From day 4 and day 5, it just became very low and slow. So it was hard work to get the wickets, but they went through. But I think Cummins missed the trick in last hour or so for closing off.
And I brought up the point earlier too about that's true. I can't hear you that clearly either. I think the audience does, but we don't for some reason. I'm understanding. My mic volume's up very high. It is. So I'm doing everything wrong.
I was mentioning it for Mohsin. For Mohsin, I was able to hear him very feebly. I was able to understand what he was saying, but I think there might be a problem with the mic or some setting, because my speaker is full, so I couldn't hear him properly.
Yeah, Mohsin, I can't speak, Mohsin.
Can you guys hear me a bit better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
That's better. Okay, sorry. I'll just try and repeat myself. What I was trying to say before was, I agreed with what Gurpreet was saying regarding the missing the trick with the last hour. When you got a new ball in your hand, you got to bowl your quicks from one end. They missed a trick with bowling both spinners in that last hour. They could have gone with Stark or Cummins from one end and Lyon from the other to keep trying attack the stumps and try and get the wickets. The pitch got slower and lower over the last couple of days, which is the nature of Karachi pitch. It wasn't it's never going to be a big turner, but there was no pace in the pitch. It was hard work for the last 2 days, but for the last hour, I would have still gone with the quick men to try and attack the stumps, try and attack the few short ones, few Yorkers, trying to take the game a little bit different way rather than just bowling spinners who's not spinning that sharply, so it was easy for them to survive.
See, something that should tell everyone about the pace of the pitch was when on the second morning, Shaheen was trying to bounce out Lion. Now, Lion's anyway a good hooker and puller of the ball. We have seen him, pull even Mark Wood in Hobart in that pink ball test, and we have seen him pull even the likes of Bumrah and Shami when India have played in Australia. But the comfort with which he was doing it in this stadium, both in front of square and behind square, it just told you how how slow the pitch was, because Shaheen was banging it short at 140s, and I think Lion was playing it like as if this is some medium pace at bowling. So that tells you, and even though Lion's one of the better lower order batters, it just sums up how slow the pitch was. Because if Lion was able to pull someone like Shaheen, as if Shaheen was bowling in the 120s, you could have imagined what other batters could have done. So yeah, I just think regardless of the fact that the pitch might have turn in Lahore or not, if it might have grass or not, I just think that it needs a little more moisture for it to
More.
have more bounce, because or even pace, because minus bounce and minus pace, it's very difficult for both batters to score quick runs, or
Mm.
for bowlers to get wickets in heaps, because it didn't happen. If you look at the Pakistan innings in the first innings, there were two runouts. Then there was the needless wicket by Imam, where he just gave a catch at mid on, and then there was this wicket of Azhar Ali where he just out of nowhere edged it to the slip. So the first innings also, it was not more to do with Australia bowling well, but it was actually more to do with Pakistan batting very poorly.
Agree 100%. I think the fact that first innings was more, it looked like more panic batting, and they're trying to take the game on, and there were more panic shots that got Pakistan in trouble. Even at the end, Babar's wicket was a panic hit. First ball, Sachin come on, he's down the track, holding out. So it was more panic batting in first innings. The air speed was quick, both sides. Even Shaheen was bowling 140s, but off the pitch it was nothing. So the guys could easily wait for the ball to come on, because off the deck the ball was coming off slow. It was holding in the pitch. It was slow and very I would say a dead pitch. Even though there was foot marks, because as I said earlier to Norman, the pitch didn't crumble at all. The pitch was not allowing those foot marks to crumble and spin sharply out of those foot marks. It was very slow for spinners, very slow for a pacer to induce a false shot out of the batter. And I think they got to get it right in Lahore. You can't continue to play on pitches like this and try and make a game out of it. Naturally, this game got to a distance and got exciting in last day, which was good. But for Test cricket, you want to have a bit more life in the pitch, equal balance with bat and ball, and that will without a doubt is got to happen. As per this Test match, it did get excited because Pakistan played poorly in first innings, so it did get excited. It was a good Test match to watch at the end, but in terms of pitch and ground, you got to give that to curators a bit of a learning. They haven't played Test cricket in Pakistan. They've got now ex MCG curator who's preparing pitch for Lahore. So they've invited him. So he's landed in Lahore this morning. So he's now going to look after the pitch for next 10 days. I hope that he gets something out of in Lahore pitch. Also, I've heard the Ramiz Raja has announced that they've already organized the new soil from Australia to revamp all the three major test playing grounds to be able to have bit more life in the squares, because these squares, I know they've been really old squares, and you see the wear on the squares. It's barren. There's no life on the Karachi square, and it's similar in Rawalpindi as well. So I like to see this kind of infrastructure build to go forward and help Pakistan cricket a lot. Otherwise, the teams will be going in Pakistan thinking it's a nil or draw, or it's a grind.
I'm looking forward to the day that you two guys are with me when we're going to talk about the World Test Championship in 2023 between India and Pakistan.
How good would that be? playing in
It's not impossible. It's not impossible to see. If Pakistan win the last match and India continue winning the way that they are, Pakistan and India could well top the table, because at the moment it's Australia, Pakistan, South Africa, India, but India is going to go high. South Africa is going to drop, I believe, and Australia could drop if they lose this. So it's going to be intriguing. It's not out of the woods. What do you think of that, Gil?
I think Pakistan have actually not done themselves. They've actually done a favor to Australia if you look at the kind of pitches that have been there in the last two tests, because uh, if they had even turners with a little more pace, I thought that they could have actually won at least one of these two test matches. But now that they have drawn, they have actually given points to Australia, because home test matches you should be dominating. Now I don't know what kind of pitch would be there in Lahore, but if if there is no result in Lahore, you ask me the team which would be happier out of this series, it would be Australia, and the team which would be even more happier than Australia would be India, because India dropped points in South Africa and they dropped points against New Zealand in that one test match in Kanpur, which was drawn. So they'd be actually happy, because Pakistan and Australia both are direct contenders for that spot in that final in the World Test Championship. So India would be actually very happy if the third test also ends in a draw. And you also have to keep an eye on the South Africa Bangladesh Test series that would happen in South Africa. And the news is
all their players are playing the IPL, aren't they?
Yeah. So the news is that their players will play the IPL, which means that South Africa might play without Rabada, Jansen, Ngidi, and Nokia's anyway injured. He might even miss the IPL. So that's a huge opportunity for Bangladesh to win a test series in South Africa ahead of India and Pakistan. So interesting times ahead. I do think that India would be able to beat Bangladesh, which is away for them, and they should be beating Australia as well when Australia come to India. The one test match that they have to play in Edgbaston is going to be a challenge, because it's difficult to just adjust for one test match straight away, and they would be actually be playing white ball cricket before that. So India do have their task cut out with regards to their way to the final. But I think Pakistan should be overall disappointed at having dropped points, because see, a draw is a good result if you are an away team. But if you are a home team, you would actually want to win as many matches as you can at home. So I think Pakistan would be disappointed, and we don't know what kind of a pitch might be there in Lahore. I'm not sure if they'll go for a turner. If they go for a turner, they would hope that they win the toss, because if they lose the toss and they have to bowl first, then it might backfire, as it has happened even with India at home. If you look at the Pune Test match in 2017, where even Stephen O'Keefe took 12 odd wickets out of 20, if I'm not wrong. So,
But all for the match.
yeah. So and that is what that's one of the two Test matches that India have lost at home in the last 7 years. So not even 7 years, in the last 9 years. So
15 series. India haven't lost 15. They've won 15 series in a row at home.
Yeah, they haven't lost since they lost to England at home in 2012. But I'm talking about. I was just crunching up some numbers after the Sri Lanka Test match. So in the last 16 Test matches that India have played at home, from 1st January 2018, they have won 14 of them, and they have only lost one, which was when Joe Root scored that double hundred in Chennai, where the pitch was similar to the one here in Karachi, only that it had more pace. And James Anderson bowled a brilliant reverse swinging spell on day 5, and India were bowled out on the final day. Uh, Out of those 16 Test matches, India have lost one, they have drawn one, and out of those 14 matches that they have won, only one match has gone into the fifth day, and 9 of
True.
those test matches have ended in 3 days. So
Yeah.
that is the level of domination that they have. So I am more or less confident with India beating Australia also when Australia come here for a 4 match series. I would even go to an extent and say that if Australia are able to draw a test match,
Mm.
it would be a huge result for them. So I don't see how Australia are going to make it to the how they are going to make it to the final. But Pakistan had a real chance.
Mm. I think I agree. Pakistan have missed the trick here. Australia obviously could have won Test match today, but to prepare lousy, slow pitches, Pakistan could have done better. Um, well, let's hope that Lahore is result oriented. In traditional, Lahore is not a turner; it's more a batting track. It's another flat track, but it has a bit more pace than both Karachi and Islamabad. So I hope they prepare it well. The guys coming from Melbourne to prepare the pitch. So hopefully 10 days is enough for him to give us something to look forward to, have a bit more life in the pitch. Other than that, India Australia series is the series to watch. I think Australia doing half decent in India would guarantee them a spot in the final, which I don't see, knowing that Indian pitches and Indian conditions. Australia have not done well in last so many years. I don't see Australia winning in India, as what Guru said. I think it's India, and interesting to see who actually comes across them as a contender for the Test Championship.
So, Gil, you also talked about, you actually attended the Mohali Test match, didn't you?
Yeah, I was there. I was there in Mohali. Great atmosphere. Uh, Virat Kohli's 100th test, and I thought that actually, that pitch was a very good one, because and Sri Lanka had their chances in that test match because they had gotten India down to under 200. Four down under 200. I think India were 159 for four, and from there on, allowing India to reach 574 was where Sri Lanka, didn't really bowl well, and then it was not a pitch where Sri Lanka should have been bowled out under 200 twice. They should have at the very least scored 300 odd in the first innings, and then that would have made India bat again, and that would have given them some time to at least earn a draw. But because they got bowled out for 174, had a trail of 400 odd runs, they really shot themselves in the foot on the second day, because I thought once they had India down four down at 159, 160, they had a real chance of restricting India, if not under 300, then at least till 350. And from 350, then Sri Lanka could have batted well, as they did in the second innings in Bangalore with Karuna Natne scoring well. And it's also, if you look at it, it's not that Sri Lanka didn't have batters contributing. Dick Vela scored a 50 odd. There was one good innings from Matthews as well. It's just
Dick Weller
that they couldn't build partnership.
bat much higher.
Sorry?
Dick Weller should bat much higher in the batting order.
He should, and it's surprising that he has now. I think he has 20 50s now without 100. So there's obviously a batting. I think the issue with him is twofold. One is sometimes that he's left batting with the tail, so he takes those extra risks. And when he is batting with someone who's a recognized batter at the other end, then he himself throws it away. So he definitely has potential, and by now he should have had a couple of hundreds, if not more, in his Test career.
Exactly. It's been wonderful, guys. This has been a fantastic episode. Both obviously Gurkha Gill and Uzan Sheikh. You guys are amazing. You should get to know each other. In fact, Gil, you should get Mosen on your show. He can talk from a Pakistani perspective, having been involved with high performance and coaching from the Pakistan under-19 team right through all of the Sydney BBLs and the whole range of state teams. Got a great exposure. Good friends with Usman Khawaja, good friends with a number of the Pakistan players and others for that matter. You two guys should exchange details. On Gil's show,
I actually have not been able to record a single show now in the last 5 months. The shows that I am releasing are ones which I recorded before, And
Oh,
as you know, I've had two Pakistani guests. I had Mazhar Arshad as one of the few earlier guests, and then I had Hassan Chima, who's with Islamabad United, to come and discuss about T20 cricket, the draft system in the PSL, and
I
what have
remember.
been the stories out of the PSL. So, but once I start recording again, I'll definitely reach out to Mohsin and talk to him, and yeah, hopefully
I
we
love
might
your show,
even,
Gil. I love your show. You
and
should have
hopefully on
20,000
that show.
subscribers.
And you know what, I'm thinking that if I ever get Mohsin on the show, we'll do a special segment which would be about bashing Norman Kochnick. I think that would give me a
Right.
lot of views.
That would be awesome.
I've got 28,000 subscribers now. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll love to see that segment specifically.
All right, guys. Thanks, guys. Both of you. I'm going to cut the show. Yeah, they've just Shake's just. Most you've just sent the email address, haven't you? You'll
Yeah,
see it
just-
in the private chat, Gil.
Yeah,
Okay.
he'll pick it up. So have a chat.
So please get him on your show at some stage. It'd be great.
Sure, no problem.
And I'll get you both back when India play Pakistan in the World Test Championship final.
Yeah.
That's my
Hopefully.
crystal ball here. My crystal ball is saying, although it does normally have chocolate milk in it, but today it doesn't. It's saying,
What's your crystal ball predicting for the IPL this time?
well, I predicted. Remember, I predicted Dave wanted to get out third ball. Remember?
Yeah, that I remember. That I remember. We were on the same show, but
Exactly.
you also predicted Delhi to win the IPL, which didn't happen.
I still think Delhi looked really good this year as well.
But I did predict Dave wanted to get out third ball, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, but I'm a KKR fan, but I think with Du Plessis in RCB, Kohli taking somewhat of the back seat but batting well, Maxwell, their bowling line, I think RCB may have a good chance.
RCB have the best bowling lineup in the tournament, that's for sure. But I think their batting is going to let them down this time.
Well, they lost to Villiers too, didn't they? So, no, I can't wait. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that series with Lucknow, of course, and Gujarat, and be great.
Don't forget my old team, Rajasthan Royals.
And also, Gil, Mohsin was involved with the Rajasthan Royals from day one.
Oh, that's something that I didn't know.
2008, 2000.
That's something I had no idea about.
Yeah, excellent. All right, guys, thanks for your time. It's been fantastic having both of you on. I love you both, not in the way that, you know what I mean.
No. I mean, no.
In a male-loving, bonding way. In fact, your beards are, I mean, my beard's a bit on the grey side, but you guys have got great beards. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for coming, Gil, and thanks for coming. Make sure you guys swap details, all right?
Yeah.
You're both swapping details. I want you guys, you'd be perfect together.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks, Gil. Thanks for coming back on. Mohsin, anytime. We've still got another test to go in Lahore. Come back for that. That'll be a bottler.
Absolutely. Love to. Cheers, mate.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Thanks, Gil. It's wonderful having those two gentlemen on the show. They're magnificent. Their knowledge is immense. We're going to finish the show now. It's been a great test match. What a result. A draw, but really, Bubba's took the show 196 not out. Abel's Bubba, Rizwan with 104, and obviously Shafiq and his 90 odd that he got 96. Some really they between those three gentlemen they scored virtually 400 runs. And if you go, that means the top five batsmen in the side. Imam with 2 centuries, Shafiq with a century and an almost century, let's call it. Then Azhar Ali with a fantastic 185 in the first test, and then followed by Baba Azam's 196 in the second, and Rizwan with 104 not out. That's 5 of the top 6. Fawad Alam's the only one that hasn't scored a century out of their top 6. Compared to Australia, there's only been one person, Usman Khawaja, that scored a century in the entire series so far. So interesting breakdown. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. It's been another great episode. Pakistan should play 3 test matches and 7 ODI matches. 7's a bit long. after ball champion Aussie bowling to look ordinary, I have to agree. So, all right, guys, I want you to view, like, and share the post. Subscribe to Eyes on Cricket. You can see it there. It's my Instagram and Twitter handles. And Norman Cossack is my Facebook and my so-called LinkedIn pages. So I hope you enjoy this. So Robert M 989. We need Boland, Ashton, and Hazelwood to come in for the third test. I agree with Boland. I don't know whether Hazelwood should come back in necessarily. And Ashton should be given a go. Schwepson's had his go, hasn't he? And although he did okay, he was lacking in the last and shouldn't be given the last over to bowl. No, under no circumstances. All right, guys, let's talk more in a few days' time. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you enjoyed the series. Norman Cossack signing off from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Cossack. All the best, guys.